Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today I wanted to do something really fun. So I've actually been working on this for a few days now, and with all the buzz going on around Blaziken, I wanted to try my hand at creating a concept. Now here's the deal. I'm not a Pokemon person, so I had to do a lot of research and a lot of looking into these moves to make sense, to see if I could make my own versions of them for Unite, and borrowing a little bit here and there. But the artwork's not great. I'm reusing assets and artwork and doing my best. The grammar and the spelling may not be perfect, but I really wanted to work on this. I thought it was really fun. I thought it'd be really awesome, just considering the buzz surrounding Blaziken. So let's go ahead and get into it. Blaziken is a melee speedster. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm excited, and I've actually given this character 2 passives. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first ability passive. Now, I just did one piece of artwork for this because, yeah. So this first part of the passive is called Speed Boost. Now, Speed Boost says, when the Pokemon successfully lands a basic attack, it will receive a 1% buff to its movement speed for 10 seconds. Each subsequent basic attack will apply 1 stack of Speed Boost to the original buff at a max of 8 stacks, and the duration cannot be reset. If Speed Boost reaches its max of 8 stacks, Blaziken will receive an additional 5% crit hit rate for the remainder of the duration. Alright, so that's the first part of its passive, and its second passive is Blaze. And Blaze reads, when the Pokemon uses Ember, Flare Blitz, or Flame Charge, more on that here in a second, any opposing Pokemon hit will be burned. For each opposing Pokemon that is burned, Blaziken will receive 1 stack of Blaze. When Blaze reaches 10 stacks, the next Ember, Flare Blitz, or Flame Charge will do an additional 5% damage. So essentially, Blaze makes it to where all of the first moveset abilities that Blaziken has, and we'll read on those in a second, will always burn a target. So anytime you hit somebody, which you will hit people, they'll take a little bit of like burn damage. Now this is also has this 10 stack buff. So in order to reach this 10 stack buff, you have to use your abilities and hit enemies with it 10 times. So this is kind of like a passive buff that sits in the background, but it will charge. You will get these stacks over time. They don't fall off or anything. You will just stack them until you hit 10 stacks, and then your next ability that you use, Ember, Flare Blitz, or Flame Charge, will just deal with additional damage. So something that will be represented in an icon, at the bottom of the screen, the corner of the screen, and you can kind of manage this and look at it and kind of almost like a boosted attack on top of the boosted attack that the character has. So speaking of the boosted attack, or the basic attack, let's go ahead and look at that. So basic attack, this is a 3-hit attack that becomes a boosted. So becomes a boosted attack with every 3rd attack, dealing increased damage and exploding in a cone in front of Blaziken. Each boosted attack explosion also burns any opposing Pokemon who are hit and gives Blaziken additional stacks of Blaze. So this is pretty simple, first hit, second hit, third hit, the third one explodes in a cone. Whoever is hit in that cone will be burned, and if they're not already burned, because you can't, so we're not stacking burns here, but they will be burned, and it will also give anybody that gets hit with that explosion will give a stack of Blaze. So you'll be stacking Blaze through triple basic attack, boosted attacks, depending on if you're cleaving, like hitting multiple targets with that, you'll stack your Blaze, and then you'll be stacking that Blaze passive by using your abilities. So in theory, you could stack this up very quickly and be building that damage buff quickly if you have the ability to do so. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the first moveset. I don't know if I said this already, but the evolution for this character is 5, 7, and 9, so this will be your first evolution and your first ability to upgrade Ember. So let's go ahead and read Ember. Ember is your first ability that you'll get at either levels 1 or 3. So shoots out a small flame dealing damage to opposing Pokemon. If Ember critically strikes, the opposing Pokemon's movement speed is decreased for a short time and leaves them burned. So the leaves them burned part, that's a part of Blaze. I just wrote it in here as well. But Ember is a ranged attack, just a quick little fire move, kind of similar to how Cinderace has Ember as well. Really simple ranged attack. Alright, so once you hit level 5, again, you will evolve and you'll be able to take Flare Blitz or Flame Charge. So Flare Blitz is a dash move, and Flame Charge is also a dash move. So this is your fire dash move options. And it says, for Flare Blitz, it says, Blaziken becomes engulfed in flames as it dashes towards an opposing Pokemon, dealing a large amount of burst damage if hit. If Flare Blitz critically strikes, the damage is increased by 50%, but Blaziken will receive 30% of the total damage dealt as recoil. this also applies a burn. So of course, same thing with Blaze, this applies a burn. This Flare Blitz is your dash move that's meant to be very, very bursty. So the bursty part of the kit. All right, let's look at Flame Charge. Dash move as well. Blaziken dashes forward, dealing enemies or damaging enemies in its path and applying the speed boost buff to Blaziken if not already active. For each opposing Pokemon hit with Flame Charge, add 1 stack to the speed boost buff, max of 8, still that's consistent. If Flame Charge critically strikes, the cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. So this is more of your movement option. So they're both dashes, but one focuses on burst damage, being Flare Blitz, and the other focuses on consistently stacking and adding more stacks to the speed boost passive, which is your max 8% increased movement speed passive that you can get. And if it critically strikes, it will reduce the cooldown of Flame Charge by 2 seconds. Now, just for the sake of saying with concepts, don't think of the balance too much. I tried even the 50% damage increase. You don't really know how much these abilities do, so try not to think of the balance too much. I didn't put cooldowns on these because I just find it kind of trivial, but let's look at the upgrades. So the upgrade for Flare Blitz, it increases Flare Blitz critical hit rate to 100%, meaning it always crits, and the recoil damage is reduced to 15%. So you're bursting, you will always crit. So meaning this move becomes you will always burst, and these upgrades happen at level 11. So you will always be bursting, you will always be taking recoil damage, but that recoil damage is reduced, but you will always be bursting with this move. All right, Flame Charge's upgrade, also at level 11, depending on which one you take, increases the crit hit rate to 100% and increases the range. So now you will, every time you hit with this, it'll crit. You will always reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds because that's built into the normal ability, and the range on Flame Charge would be increased. So you can kind of see this is your fire path. You have to take a fire move on this character. You will be getting a dash move. Neither one of these is a sure hit move, so you have to actually target and hit somebody with it, and at some point they will both be able to fully critical hit and get their added benefit. All right, let's go on ahead and look at the second move set. So at either levels 1 or 3, you will get Double Kick. This is a dash move. Blaziken kicks towards an opposing Pokemon, dealing damage. If it hits for a short duration, Double Kick can be used again for a second strike. So the reason this is a dash move is because Ember in the early game is a ranged move. It's just like a little fireball you spit out. This is like our early game dash option. So really simple. You dash. If you hit something, or not if you hit something, you dash for a short duration, you can use a second kick on this. So it's like a slide kick kind of thing, a dash kick, and if you want, you can use it again for a second strike. All right, at level 7, you will evolve, and you will get another ability. You'll get the ability to choose one of these 2 abilities, which is either Swords Dance or Bulk Up. These are both buff moves. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Swords Dance raises 4 swords around Blaziken, increasing its attack stat by 4% for 5 seconds. Each hit that Blaziken takes during Swords Dance will break 1 sword, adding an additional 1% attack stat for the duration, for a total of 8% max. Now, these swords do not deflect damage, they don't block damage, they don't reduce damage, but it's something that enemy players will have to be aware of. When you see the 4 dancing swords surrounding Blaziken, you know that you can hit him, but the cost of hitting him during that duration is that you will be raising his attack stat by a percentage. So when you turn on Swords Dance, you'll get a 4% increased attack stat, and if they hit you, then you have the ability to go up to 8%. All right, let's look at Bulk Up. Bulk Up is also a buff. This buff, Bulk Up, gives Blaziken a shield equal to 10% of its max health. Really plain and simple. If you use this ability, it's going to shield you, and 10% of the max health scales depending on what items you have, depending on what time of the game it is, so it can be very nice. So Swords Dance upgrade, this will be level 13. If all 4 swords are broken, the duration of Swords Dance will be reset with a 10% increase attack stat. So the max normally is 8. The total duration for Swords Dance is 5 seconds, but if all of the swords are broken when you have the upgraded level 13, it will completely reset the 5-second cooldown, or the 5-second timer duration for this ability, and it will increase the max from 8 to 10%. All right, the upgrade to Bulk Up, it increases the efficacy of the health shield to 15%, and the upgraded Bulk Up will also give Blaziken 5% increased crit hit damage. So you can kind of see a theme trying to buff this character, playing a lot around the crits. So with increased Bulk Up getting increased crit hit damage, Speed Boost giving you increased crit hit damage, and then the abilities that are guaranteed crits, you can definitely see the kind of theme there. All right, and last but not least, let's move on to the Unite move. Now, the Unite move is called Roaring Blaze Kick, and this is, you know, a Blaze Kick variant. This is a sure hit dash move that has, in my mind, it has a really, really big radius, but not like Dragonite's ult radius. It's just like a really big radius, probably from like middle of the choke in the Zapdos Articuno pit to the other side middle of the choke, so you could dash pretty much across the entire Zapdos area, so pretty big. In this read, Blaziken kicks towards an opposing Pokemon, dealing a small amount of damage and stunning them. Roaring Blaze Kick gives Blaziken a fully stacked speed boost and a blaze buff, so you get both of your passives are fully stacked and will auto cast either Swords Dance or Bulk Up without using its cooldown. So this move is pure initiation. You're going to do a little bit of damage, but I even wrote that in there, small amount of damage, but you're going to stun the target that you pick. It's a single hit dash sure hit, so you will dash across the field, whether it's short or long. You will hit your target, you will stun them. This will give you a full speed boost passive, meaning you'll be running at that 8% increased speed until that falls off. You will have the full blaze buff, so your next either Flare Blitz or Flame Charge is going to do an additional damage, that 5% additional damage, and this will automatically cast whichever ability you took, Swords Dance or Bulk Up, and it will not put it on cooldown. So you'll either be stacking additional damage, or you will have a shield on you, and then you'll have the ability to repop either Swords Dance or Bulk Up, and whenever that duration falls off. So this is a move that I think is really important to know, that it's all about initiation. It's not really, it's about single target initiation. It's not really about blowing someone up, because you're going to be doing damage with your kit and not really with this ability. But this ability will fly you into battle and give you the ability to start that off. So looking at the kit overall, my kind of idea was I wanted two clear paths. I wanted like a damage path and more of like a movement based survivability path. You know, this is a speedster, just kind of because of the theme of mobility and burst, but you have more of like almost like an all-rounder kind of option too, with a little bit more mobility and a little bit more versatility. So there you have it. That's my concept for Blaziken. Like I said, obviously none of this stuff is official, but I just wanted to make something really cool. There's been a lot of talk about Blaziken and Wobbuffet, and I figured it would be a really fun time to try my hand. I love doing concepts for games, but I'm not very good at them for Pokemon, because there's just so much about Pokemon that I don't really know or understand, but I wanted to try my hand at it. So thank you, friends, so much for watching this video. Happy New Year again. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Again, I always say this whenever I do concepts, don't think about the balance too much. It's kind of impossible to balance something you can't physically playtest, so I don't know what the cooldowns are, I don't know how much the damage is. Let's just pretend in an ideal world the character's strong but isn't overpowered. So as always, drop a like, drop a comment on the video, support me if you can, I appreciate it. Be sure to be kind to one another, tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.